Hey, cousin everybody. Welcome to Mama's Comedy Show.
Hey, cousin audience, it's me, Cousin Todd, with Mama's Comedy Show. And with me is Cousin Matt.
Hi.
Good job, Matt. And Cousin Kenny.
Hello.
And last, but certainly not first, it's Cousin Jason.
Hi, cousin internet. See, that's how you say hi, Matt.
Hey, what?
Hey.
It like gets to you and you're hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you for the delay. That'll be fun for people to listen to.
Todd, I'm doing great.
I was just telling you how, like, I'm seeing more and more people listening in on the podcast. Like, pre-COVID, we were getting, closer to 2,000 listens a month.
Oh, okay.
Which was great. And then COVID happened. Our shows were down, so we didn't really do a lot of podcasts. And when we started back up, when did we start? When did we come back after COVID? 2 years ago? I don't. Time is messed up. But it was way lower than that. But it's actually boosting back up.
Yes.
And
Where's it at now?
How do you thank me? Giant pauses before questions.
Okay, we'll do that.
I mean, it was a difficult question.
Right. And speaking of not being consistent on podcasts, we didn't have a podcast last week.
Oh.
What?
I was kind of disappointed to be
We were
honest.
all set up to do it, but we were missing one chord that we needed. Literally one chord. So it's a brand new chord today. So
I noticed it was still pretty kinked.
it's very kinky.
It's very kinky.
But I was very upset that we weren't doing a podcast last week because I had a really great story, and luckily I
Too
still.
bad he can't tell it.
I know I'm gonna tell it.
All right, I guess he's gonna tell it.
So
Will you make it long and rambly?
I sure
like
will.
My stories. Go for it.
Have you guys ever done a job where you needed to do a background check?
Sure.
No.
Right.
My current job.
Well, I had to. It was like gig work, and I was working with children of wounded veterans. Right. That's yay for me. The word hero gets thrown around a lot, but I really am doing my best to make this world a better place.
Little did they know that you wounded them.
You every time.
God bless you, Todd Farron.
Thank you. So I had to do a background check for this. So I submitted all my stuff. Off it goes. Right. 24 hours later, I wake up, I see the email, and I was like, oh, your results came back. I'm not even going to look at it, right? I know I'm I'm doing this for wounded soldiers' children.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy.
You did those drugs months ago.
Yeah.
I opened it up. What do you think it said in there?
No idea.
You're pregnant.
Obviously not something great
No,
since you're telling the story.
It said registered sex offender nationwide.
Wait, they get that from your urine?
And yeah, they just pull my urine off of the bus window, and they're like, "This is the guy that did it." No.
Be in this, take it to a quest. They'll
So
tell you.
I'm looking at this, going, "What the fuck?"
You must-
So
Is
many
this-
questions going through my head right now.
And then I look up. They misspelled my name by one letter.
Oh, Todd with one D.
No, and I don't even want to tell you on the podcast how to spell it because I started looking the guy up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, one letter off, and then I wrote them, and I was like, "Hey," in my most professional, like, "What the fuck is happening?" tone. I was like, "Hey, this is not the correct spelling of my name. It also says registered sex offender," and I just want to make sure you didn't send this to my potential employer. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll double check that." That was a long 10 hours for them to come back and go, "Oh yeah, no, you're fine."
We sent it to them, but we told them, oh, that was a mistake.
I just realized what letter. I mean, if they changed the R, then his name would have been Todd Felon.
Oh.
Which would have been a good clue for
Right.
them.
You got to talk into this part of your microphone.
How's
Yeah,
that? Is that
that's better.
I know it's weird though, because I can go like this. It's
You
difficult to talk to you but not look
The
at
people
you.
who are listening to this can't see what you're doing.
I
right
know
here.
He's rotating around the
They're
mic like
missing
it's an
out.
ice cream cone.
Well, it's a difficult circumstance to have a conversation with someone that you can only almost see in your peripherals.
That's why I've shifted myself to be able to see all
Yeah.
of you.
I like when we're in
Hi.
the round.
Yeah, well, you know what? Matt, tell everyone the story about when you became a registered sex offender.
Yeah.
Well, My name was Todd Felon. It was a lonely night in December 1984.
All right, never mind. Have you guys ever had anything like close to that? Close to?
No, but I've
No,
had.
not
I've
Jason's
had
nodding his head.
Yeah, a little bit. So I was dating somebody in South Florida, and both of her parents were police officers, and they wanted me to do a ride along. Well, I wanted to do a ride along with Miami-Dade, Metro-Dade.
Yeah, they didn't
police.
have to cuff you though.
No, they didn't. But
But he insisted on it.
Well, I still do. My cousin, who has the same last name, has done things, has been arrested. I didn't know that until when I put my name in, and his name is the same first initial. They thought it was me because I also we all look alike,
Right.
and so the name was different, but we look enough alike. They thought maybe it was an alias, and I almost couldn't get a ride along, and I almost. They were being pretty aggressive with me, but
But no one like pulled a gun on you and were like, "Get on the floor."
no, I was already in the police station. I mean, where was I going to go? I'm 5 foot and a half.
Wow.
I mean, come on.
That's awful.
And this may just be me. I can't be the only one. But are you ever like behind a police officer at like 7-Eleven or something? and I know I won't do this, right?
You see that? Yeah.
I know that I will not do this, but I look at the gun and I just go, I think I could get it.
Yes.
I always think I can get it. And not only do I think I can get it, in my head, I picture me grabbing it and his arm reaching down for it. I envision the struggle.
Yeah.
That's part of the fantasy. And all I want to do is get it out just to be like, I got it.
And then you give it back? What's the
Yeah.
end game?
Yeah, I pointed at him and go, here you go. No, I was walking in the mall with my friend Brad.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
And this was back when malls were relevant. And as we were walking, there was a police officer walking in front of us, and I had that voice in my head that was like, you can get it, you can get it. And so I said, Brad, what would you do if I grabbed that cop's gun and just fired it off into the air one time? And he said, I would lay down on the ground like everyone else.
I have heard
a
it's
good answer.
perfectly acceptable to pull a cop's gun, but only as you say, just kidding.
And
right
if you
now.
give it back. So you have to give it back.
And you have to give it back.
I think that's a
Yeah,
scientific
that way
fact.
you guys can have a good laugh afterward.
Yeah, everyone. I've actually said this before that I feel like for non-violent crimes like speeding, I feel like it should be gamified, right? So like if you're driving on the road and a cop puts his lights on, you get that whoop whoop behind you. If you make it to your destination,
He can't.
yeah, that's base. You can get out of your car, run up, slap your house, and go
Base.
Base. but the difference is, if he does stop you, if he does, what's the move where they hit your car and cause you to spin out?
Whatever that.
What's it called?
Is it T-boning?
No, it's not T-boning.
No, it's
It's a maneuver where they. What is it?
Teabagging.
It's teabagging.
Same thing.
But if they stop you and yank you out of the car, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
so wait, if you get T-boned or T-bagged, then you get yanked?
Yes.
Wow. That's great.
But the idea is, if you're driving down the road and those lights come on behind you, you have to think, how close am I to my destination? Because it'd be kind of thrilling to go,
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to do, like, I'll speed more around my house. just to know, like, I could be like, leave the car on the lawn, jump out, slap the window.
That's after he was in the mall pulling the gun, went to his car.
Yeah, not if you committed a murder. If you're like in a white Bronco driving down the road.
Yeah.
Is this podcast premeditation for you? Like, are you
Yeah.
going to use this in court?
Can you
See, it's
imagine?
all a joke, Your Honor.
Yeah, see,
I'm a funny
a
guy.
comedy show. It's a comedy.
I'm
Yes.
Todd Felon.
And then they show pictures of the bodies, and they're like, "This is a joke."
He used
Just,
to be
we're
your
just
friend.
kidding.
He
We're
was a
just
funny
having
guy.
some fun, officer.
Just kidding, Matt. That blood out of the side of your mouth is hilarious.
But yeah, that was my being
That's,
mistaken for a sex offender
Yeah.
Wow. I like
story.
it.
But something we should do.
Just another day for you, huh, Todd?
Oh my God, dude! I was laying in bed, instant sweat. So something that we do for those of you who are in here is we like to get a topic to discuss on the podcast, but rather than just us coming up with it, we need some information.
Yeah.
What's your name? Morgan? With an M. What is your last initial? MM? All right, guys, so we have to come up with a podcast segment using the initials MM. Go ahead, Matt.
How about
That's 2 M's. Usually it's 3, but I like okay. Okay. Kenny?
Oh,
That's an O. That's
yeah,
not an M.
Yep, my mistake. Mighty matches.
Mighty matches. Okay, Jason?
Yeah. Maniacal madness.
Okay. And Kenny, I thought you were going to steal mine. My mistake.
Oh.
So now what's going to happen is we will discuss what the idea is behind this segment. Matt, go ahead.
I cheated a little bit, but mine, I thought it'd be fun for us to talk about like the most delicious thing we've ever eaten that made us say,
Okay. Kenny?
Mighty matches can be anything. Anything like if you ever got into a fight in school and you won, or if you ever competed against somebody, or like in a video game, a board game, card game, athletic.
So a big victory.
Like a big victory, yeah.
anywhere where you were mighty.
Yeah.
I like it.
Jason?
Yeah, maniacal madness is that time when you're having an argument with someone and you know you're right, and you know you're right, and you get so you get angry, and you know you're right until you realize, holy shit, I'm totally wrong.
Yeah.
But you still have to prove your point.
Is this because your wife is back home now and that's what's on your mind?
I mean, she's right all the time, so yes.
Yeah. And my mistake is basically just like that time in your life that you go, whoops, I made a big fuck up. All right? So, so getting married. So now you guys get to vote which of these segments you'd like to see, and you vote by clapping or screaming and cheering. So we'll go down the line. Matt, say the name of your game, and then they'll vote. Okay, couple people, 2 M's.
Yeah.
Kenny?
Mighty matches.
You got one.
One.
Oh, there's no.
Morgan, you don't have to do that.
There was one,
You don't have
and
to
I
do
would
that.
like to point out that it was not from my son.
The son
who
was
in
not
the audience.
one of them. Yeah.
He's busy.
That's fair.
He's busy.
Jason?
Maniacal madness. Madness.
You got Kenny's son. All right, and then my mistake.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to do that one.
All right, guys. Well, because your wife is here, and you'll be in trouble.
No. I mean, now I really don't want to do it. Thank you
All
for
right,
that.
so let's talk about my mistake.
Yeah.
Who has made a mistake so big and blundery that it could have very well altered the course of your life?
Yeah. Yeah. Here comes the pause.
Anybody?
Did you know that birth control is only 98% effective? It's true.
You have 2 kids.
Birth control is only 98% effective.
So if you do it 200 times.
What am I, an animal?
That's right.
in one night.
No, not in one night.
Do you know, Matt?
That would not count as a mistake, but it was accidental.
Yeah, I think there are a lot
Surprise.
of whoops babies.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's the technical term.
I'll keep thinking of a better one.
All right. Kenny, do you have a big mistake you made? Sure you do.
I'm sure I do. I just can't think of one.
I'll tell you my.
Okay, get back to me.
Yeah, I'll tell you my mistake. Unless Jason, you have one in the chamber.
I have one. It's pretty simple though.
Go for it.
2 years ago, when we were trying to buy a house, it was very difficult to buy a house. Everybody was outbidding everyone and everything, and instead of kind of waiting because the interest rates were rising, we bought this house that was a flip, and we're like, yeah, this looks good. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this house. This is the one, and we bought it. And within a month, pipes were bursting in the walls. We realized the kitchen was pretty much unusable, and we needed to spend another probably $100,000 on the house to get it together where we need it to go. That's still where we live. Love where we are, so that's not a mistake. But yeah, buying this house was a big flub, and that's a very adult mistake. That's boring.
Yeah, but that's also very expensive.
Very expensive.
Which makes it a lot funnier. then although how much is the cost of raising a child now? What is it? It's something like
It's a lot.
from 0 to 18.
It's all my money.
Yeah. So technically, you got off easy.
You have to raise them till they're 18? You know
Well,
what? I told you,
well,
Dad.
it's recommended.
Legally, yes. It just depends on how bold you decide to be.
My dad
before
was
they
like, "You
turn
can walk.
18."
Get out there, son."
So not to call a marriage a mistake. But,
Go on.
But let's see.
You do refer to her as your assistant.
Well, not my current assistant.
Oh.
But I mean, at least 2 of us up here have been divorced, right?
Oh, Kenny, I'm so sorry to hear about that. It's too bad. Jason, I'm so sorry. Oh, wait, it's us. Oh, it's us.
Yeah, it's you and I.
Shit. All right. It's okay.
But, you learn from your mistake. I wouldn't want to say it's a mistake, but it was a life-changing decision.
For sure.
And she was a very funny girl. She still is a very funny girl, and she's very, very talented. She has some demons that she's fighting, and she's still fighting them. I hear.
Who isn't?
Who isn't?
Who isn't?
I don't know, man.
Bette Midler.
My life is great right now. I am. Ever since I found this powder that you sniff, and
Oh, you mean energy dust?
energy
I
dust.
love
Yeah,
it.
I mean, again, I don't.
Mariah Carey.
What?
I'm naming people.
Hey,
Oh,
say what
who
you
doesn't?
will.
Who isn't fighting demons?
No, I'm naming people that he might have married. that are-
Say what you will, but Whitney Houston is 18 years sober.
Good for her. Good for her. It's nice to know she
Such a
doesn't take
sad,
drugs or alcohol
sad joke.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to say that the marriage was a mistake because obviously you learn from these things.
You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here where you are.
No, I'd be dead.
You think? Maybe.
He definitely would be dead.
I would be dead. But probably a heart attack. Self-inflicted heart attack. So I think, man, I've made such good decisions in my life. What mistakes could I really have made?
I mean, it's a tough one, especially when you're describing it as such a like a U-turn merge sort of roads diverge kind of a mistake. That's a tough one to pinpoint.
I mean, as far as mistakes goes, if I had just spelled my name 1 letter off from a very early age, I would have made a huge mistake somewhere along the lines.
I shouldn't have committed that murder.
Oh well, live and learn.
If a murder came up on my background check, that would at least be something exciting to talk about.
Yeah.
But if everyone's like, "Hey, what did you do?" and I was like, "I don't know, I diddled some kids."
I like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
What did you? I don't know. I diddled some kids. Did you,
98%.
or you're not sure? Are you doing it now?
Only 98% of them are on purpose.
Define diddle.
I think to answer this question sufficiently, what we would need is to tell a story about getting pulled over, but then realizing, you know what? If I can make it back to my garage, GTA style, and get in there, close the doors, repaint my car real quick,
Right.
I'll be okay.
You realize how shitty every car in the GTA world would look like? Because everyone's repainting their cars in like 30 seconds. I can't imagine they're taping off the windows.
Somebody's going to listen to this and do this.
Honestly, if you just put it out there and said, if you make it home, it could be a $100 traffic ticket.
Yeah.
If you make it home, you're free and clear. But if we get you, you're going to jail.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But then what is
It's
there
fun for the
extra-
cops too, because they're like, oh, here we go. Like they're just waiting for that guy to do it.
It gives them incentive.
And like in GTA, the more things you hit or whatever, you get more stars that pop up on
But wait a
your...
minute. Wait, okay. So, but I don't know. All right. I don't know that they're going to find it as fun as you think, because that's essentially them doing their jobs. That's the equivalent of me saying, if you're an accountant, here's more accounting to do.
Yeah.
Don't you love these spreadsheets? Here's 20 more, fucker.
Right,
Good luck.
but an accountant doesn't get to like slam into a guy's left fender and spin him out.
I mean, you
True.
don't know that.
He doesn't get to. You're right. He doesn't get to T-bone or T-bag
Right,
as
or
much
tase
as,
someone.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine tasing
tasing.
someone?
T-bone, teabag, and
I
tasing.
was
Besides in the bedroom.
The terrific trio.
Speaking of people making big mistakes, I was downtown Orlando And this was back when the Fringe was in the downtown area.
Okay.
And I
in
was
the 90s.
looking for
wow.
my friends, and I was talking to them on the phone, and some dude like pushed past me. Like I for those of you listening, my shoulder rocked forward.
Shoulder checked.
In a realistic fashion, as though someone from behind me ran past me. And it was this dude. He had no shirt on, which is always a good sign when you're in the middle of a city.
Go
Yeah.
on.
So he's no shirt on.
So he's doing well.
He runs past me, and I see these two little red dots floating on his back.
Oh.
Ooh.
And I immediately, I'm going, oh shit, what's happening here? And then the guy turns around and goes, what? And these two cops with their tasers drawn are like, you need to get on the ground right now. And the guy did what I think all of us would do in any situation. He pushed the cops,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know
if you've ever heard a taser actually go off.
No, actually I haven't.
It's like a crackle. It's like,
Oh, wow.
this dude was on the ground in a heartbeat. And that's not the worst thing that happened to him that night.
He peed his pants, huh?
No. So his girlfriend ran up to him, and she's crying, and she's yelling at him. And then while she's yelling at him, right? So he gets tased. He falls and lands on her.
Oh, she gets tased too?
I don't think she got tased, but she pushes him off, and she stands up. He's still on the ground. And she's just going, she gets right in his face and goes, why are you doing this? And I just wanted to go, gosh, he's having a bad enough night. You don't have to do that.
Did you? All right. Were you talking to your friends on the phone this
I
whole
was
time?
the entire time.
Were you? So you're narrating this for
No,
them?
I think at one point I just stopped to enjoy the show. Like, I didn't want to be distracted with having to explain it. Because then I wouldn't be able to paint the picture as I did now.
Todd, are you
Right.
still there? Todd. Todd,
Oh, they were across the street. So they saw a crowd around me.
Sure.
But I think me on the phone going, oh! Let them know that at least I was okay.
I don't know. That doesn't sound super convincing.
You know how we know that guy? That guy was not experiencing homelessness or homeless or whatever. You know how we know?
How do we know?
Because if he was homeless, he would have just said base, and he was there.
Yeah.
Wherever you go.
Wherever he goes. Yeah.
Have you guys ever electrocuted yourself or been tased?
No.
Not
No, but
tased.
I did. I one time. This is an old memory. So you know you plug in a plug.
Yep.
It's got the two little prongs, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you pull out some space in between, so the prongs are into the circuit,
Right.
But there's enough space that you might fit a knife in there.
Right?
One time I did that accidentally. and
How is that an accidental thing? That seems pretty.
I think I was in junior high, so
This plug won't
it
come
was
out.
That much.
me pry it off
thought-
with a piece
that
of
much
metal.
thought was into it.
I gotta wash this
did.
toaster somehow.
It melted the mid. Like there was a hole in that knife. That's how much. I don't know electricity, but I mean I was lucky not.
How
to
many
be-
days did it take for you to wake up?
It was no. I mean I was fine. The counter had some problems, and the knife was not usable.
Has anyone out
That's
there
close
ever
I've been.
electrocuted themselves in any way? No, we're the only idiots up
We're the
here.
only. We're the only.
And that's why we're doing comedy in there.
when I bought my first condo, the person who wired everything really just kind of hodgepodged whatever they could, and so when I was redoing all of the lighting fixtures, I was constantly checking the breakers to make sure everything was off. My buddy Jason was with me, and he was helping me. So first of all, I think what the lesson learned. Only one person should be in charge of turning on and off breakers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm up there, the breaker's off. I was pretty sure. I mean, for me to do what I was doing, I was certain that the breaker was off.
Yeah.
So I'm changing the lighting fixture, and what it felt like to me was it felt like my friend had snuck up behind me and karate chopped me like in my ribs from
Yeah,
behind.
yeah.
Because my arms flew forward and I threw like my screwdriver and whatever metal tools I had in my hand down the hall. And then I spun around to be like, what the fuck, man? And I realized I just electrocuted myself. And I will say, like, I did feel a little bit more zippy. Well, like, it was the adrenaline, but I did feel like, oh, yeah, I gave myself some juice.
It's called the Speed Force.
So this is what it's like to be the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get any superpowers other than the little pee-pee coming out.
Saw yourself in the. That's not a superpower. That's your 40s.
Hey, how about you, Jason? Have you electrocuted yourself?
I've electrocuted myself, but not like majorly like that.
Florida tried to do me.
I was changing a light switch.
Yeah.
And I forgot to hit the breaker. But those don't actually have as much power going through. But I zapped, and I felt so lucky that I was alive. But somebody told me, like, no, there's not that much power going through. And then I hit myself with one of those, those fly swatters that look like a little tennis racket.
Yeah.
There's one back there.
Oh, they have with the electric thing?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wonder what this is like, and I touched it, and those really hurt.
Yeah. Well, when I worked in the magic shop, we sold those shock lighters.
Yeah.
And the way that we would sell them is we would do a magic trick, and then where you basically solidifying water, and then we had this shock lighter.
It's called ice.
And no, it's a gel. It's the same powder that they put in diapers to make them absorbent. But when you're demonstrating that trick, you would take the little fake lighter, and you go into reverse it. You just apply a little heat. And then people would take the lighter, shock the shit out of themselves. And it's just like a 9-volt battery. You wouldn't think it would be that bad. Those little lighters were super durable because they go flying the instant someone does it. But what you were talking about, the lighting switch, I remember when I was a little kid, I mean, very, very small, probably 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
That we had a dimmer switch in our dining room that I could, it was broken, and I could reach in and touch it, and I knew that I would get shocked every time I did it, but I did it a handful of times.
All right,
That later became Todd's kink.
I do have a shock story. I do have a shock story that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So cousin Ed Budd.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to his place?
Yeah.
Yeah, cousin Ed's place. When you are going into cousin Ed's place, you have to type into the little keypad to get in. That thing is not grounded. And every 3 or 4 people, that thing gets supercharged.
Yeah.
I have been that person. It shocks the hell out of you.
Which is wild because it's like a 55-plus neighborhood.
Yes.
So
it shocks the hell out. But they have little clickers. It's just for their grandkids.
Oh, who don't have pacemakers.
Who don't have, right. But then the person like behind you, I grounded it. We're good for the.
Yeah.
And then
Did you really?
I
I thought you meant like you went in after dark with your tools.
The shock went all through me, and then the person behind. I even tried it with a little towel or something. Went right through it.
When you were a kid, did you do the thing where you shuffle your feet along the carpet and then shock your siblings, or you get like a doorknob or something?
Yeah,
I've done that.
My brother and I were doing that, and I found a fishing hook that was in the carpet.
Oh no!
God.
Shuffling my feet Easter morning, so there were no doctor's offices opening.
Oh no!
But so my dad took me to an emergency vet, and they cut the end of it and then pull it out. Oh. All right. Well, we should start wrapping things up because we are going to have people coming in here soon. So Matt, what did you learn tonight?
I learned that there's times when I would definitely like to get T-boned, T-balled, and yanked. T-bagged.
Kenny,
That too.
what did you learn tonight?
I've learned I got a great premise for a comedy take on The Purge. It's when you can commit any crime whenever you want, but as long as you say, just kidding, you're fine.
That's a good idea.
Okay. All right.
like
Jason, what did you learn tonight?
I learned that you can tell if you're a sex offender just from a urine sample. Apparently.
And I learned something tonight too.
What'd you learn, Todd?
I learned that I've been very fortunate every time I go to Cousin Ed's house.
Yes, you have.
Because I've never been shocked.
It shocks the hell out of you.
We're Mama's Comedy Show. We're here every night, Friday night at 9 p.m. You can go to www.mamascomedyshow.com to make a reservation. Matt, where can people find you?
I'll be going home after this.
Yeah.
All right.
And I plan on staying there until I have to leave again.
I will post your address in the liner notes.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'm looking for a job, so find me on LinkedIn.
All right. Kenny, where can people find you?
You can find me running around downtown Orlando with my shirt off trying to get tased by cops. Sounds like a fun Saturday night.
Yeah. What if they got your nip? Man, that would hurt. Jason, where can people find you?
People can find me at Acting Jason on the socials and here at Mama's Comedy Show.
And you can find my books on Amazon. Just search Todd Farron on Amazon. You'll find a whole bunch of books. Oh, speaking of...
spelled F-E-L-E-N.
Speaking of the podcast... I was talking to Jason about this. People are listening to the podcast on YouTube, which is something that I never thought, like, as a location to listen to podcasts. I see our iTunes stuff and everything, and it's not a ton, but it was like 26 or 28 people listened to the last one on YouTube, and I just thought, what psychopath is watching YouTube on their TV? I guess they could do it on their phone. I don't know. You know, keep listening. At least leave a comment why YouTube and not like
Look,
Spotify.
I listened 28
if they have
times.
YouTube TV, there's no commercials. So maybe they already have it, and it's like, well, no
That's
commercials
good.
here.
But speaking of the YouTube section of that, tonight when we're doing A Material, I'm actually recording us and the audience as we do A Material.
Oh, nice.
Because that will then post alongside our podcast.
So more curry jokes is
Yes,
what I'm hearing?
more curry jokes. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.